Hello, hello, welcome back. This is Evie, and she's visiting Lambeth after Jacob's assassination of Dr. Elliotson.
Miss Fry, what a pleasant surprise.
Hello, Clara. I was just going to check on Lambeth since the asylum's closing. What brings you here?
The children in my care have been falling ill. Our usual tonics aren't working. A cane, too.
Are you certain you're feeling all right?
Of course, I am, miss.
Clara! Is there a doctor nearby?
Bring her inside. She simply collapsed.
Yes, she said the others took tonic, but it didn't work.
I should think not. Ever since Elliotson was murdered, the district has been overrun with counterfeit tonics. This one needs proper care. But without the appropriate medication, she and the others will quickly decline.
What do you need?
I need supplies. Plenty of them. And medicine. Some of the less common ingredients are being stolen and sold at auction.
I'd be happy to help.
Here's the list. Miss?
Fry. Evie Fry.
I'm Miss Nightingale. How do you do? Please hurry. We don't have much time.
I've something I need you to do.
Won't bite back now, will it? These things aren't good for this job, really. Bring me in. Serves you bloody well, right?
Yeah!
These supplies are meant for Miss Nightingale.
I'm here to collect them.
They're already loaded on the cart. Please take them. Giddy up!
You mean that cart?
Yes.
Of course it is.
Please be careful. Some of those items are fragile.
Easy now. Here now. Go on. There you are. Atta girl. Easy girl.
You're back. And not a moment too soon. I hope you brought the medication I requested.
How is she?
She will recover.
Babylon Alley, the children.
Thanks to you, we can distribute authentic medicine now.
But is that a permanent solution?
I will petition to have regulations put in place.
Lambeth is in your debt.
It takes a long time to change things. But I'm not going anywhere, Miss Fry.
Alright, here's entry number 3. Dr. Elliotson is dead, and with it goes the production of Stark's soothing syrup, the patent medicine of choice in London. Jacob is justifiably proud of the end of one of Crawford Stark's principal revenue streams, not to mention the death of one of his chief supporters. Unfortunately for us, that was not the end of the story. I visited Lambeth to find that things had not settled as we had hoped they would. Instead, in the absence of the syrup, people were turning to other tonics, some of them little more than tinted water, others with less savory ingredients. Meanwhile, medicine, real medicine, was being stolen and sold to the highest bidder. Clara O'Day and several of her children fell ill and might not have pulled through but for my intervention and the care of Miss Florence Nightingale. Bringing a cure to Clara and a cure to the borough at large are two very different things, so further action is required. Mr. Green assisted me in rooting out the thieves hoarding medical supplies. Jacob was nowhere to be found. I have reported some of the culprits to Mr. Aberline for the police to deal with. The rest we have seen to ourselves. I have also put some of the assassins' money toward Miss Nightingale's efforts to create better sanitation regulations, which she assures me will help stall the spread of disease. Better than any tonic, however effective. I have no small delight in being able to count the famed Lady of the Lamp as an acquaintance, although our first meeting was under unpleasant circumstances. Entry number 4. There are so many things to relate, I hardly know where to start. It has been equal parts triumph and failure. It seems that the piece of Eden that Miss Thorne is seeking is a shroud of Eden, which the assassins recovered at some point before they left London. Where that shroud is, or why Miss Thorne seeks it, are still a mystery. I found a series of directions that pointed to a hidden vault within the Kenway house. It was once owned by Edward Kenway, a master assassin, and then passed to his son Hatham, a Templar Grandmaster. One can only imagine the family dinners. After the Kenway's time, the mansion passed out of our history, or so we thought. I traveled there, accompanied by Mr. Green, only to find that the house is still being occupied by the Templars. Indeed, it seems Miss Thorne has made it her principal place of business, for we saw her enter as we arrived. I determined to enter in any case, avoiding a direct confrontation, if at all possible. We found Edward Kenway's hidden vault, a secret that has managed to remain hidden for more than a century. Rather unfortunately, Edward Kenway's method of concealing a vault involved a player piano that alerted the guards to our presence. Mr. Green and I had the barest amount of time to look around and see the treasure hidden within before we had to flee. I came away with a single piece of paper and a metal disc. That sounds like very little, I know. However, the paper itself tells us the story of the London assassins before they were wiped out. Several bolt holes are mentioned, any one of which might contain valuable information about our history. And the disc promises to unlock a key, a precursor object, hidden somewhere in London. How strange, the phrase, to unlock a key. I wonder if it is an attempt at a joke on Kenway's part. Given the player piano, I have a low opinion of his sense of humor. We shall have to return to the Kenway mansion at a later time to deal with the Templars in a more final manner and reclaim the rest of the artifacts inside. In the meantime, the information I recovered points to the disc being a piece of the monument, so I'm headed there to discover what secrets it might hold. Jacob has arrived and seems determined to accompany me, though I have not invited him. NB. I wrote that before I thought I should say we, for Mr. Green was there as well, and we are often together. Well, we got some medicine for the kids. They should be alright now. That girl we just met, Florence Nightingale. She was born on the 12th of May, 1820. Florence Nightingale was driven by her faith and her convictions from a young age. She knew she wanted to become a nurse when she was a little girl, but her parents disapproved of the idea, seeing it as below their upper-class station. Nightingale would later tell her associates that she received a message from God when she was 17, telling her to become a nurse. That guy can be pretty specific. Now, I don't want to put down someone who did a whole lot of good for people, but that just seems a little convenient, doesn't it? What would have happened if God told her to be a plumber instead? Anyway, Nightingale trained herself to become a nurse, and when Britain entered the Crimean War began in 1854. What the hell? She found work on the front lines, a lot of work, with a staff of 38 volunteer nurses and 15 nuns that she personally assembled. Nightingale was both disciplined and organized in administering care to injured soldiers. I apologize, this is starting to read like a bad CV. The point is, she was very good at her job and recognized that nurses needed to be better trained at home before being sent into battle. Nightingale returned home in 1855 and established the Nightingale Fund, aimed at training nurses while the war raged on. In 1859, she published notes on nursing, which became the standard text used to train nurses, and founded the Nightingale Training School in St. Thomas's Hospital the following year. The rest of her life was dedicated to advocating for women's rights and especially better sanitation in London and India after discovering the role hygiene played in healthcare. Florence Nightingale died in her sleep on 13th of August 1910. She was 90 years old. While she left a great legacy behind, scholars these days are quick to point out that, for all of her advocacy for women's rights, she opposed the idea of women working as physicians or even having the vote. The hell, Flo! See ya.